Hello, in today's video we'll be discussing how and why the Ottoman Empire failed and its impact in history and on the world. To start off this video, I'd like to give you a short history of the Ottoman Empire, from its humble beginnings as a group of tribes in Asia Minor to its expansions across Africa, Europe and the Middle East. The creation of the empire is credit to Osman I, who was the leader of several tribes in the 14th century in modern-day Turkey. He conquered neighbouring tribes, which led to the expansion of the tribe's control over the region. After his death, his followers named themselves Ottomans. The Ottoman tribes continued to expand the borders across Turkey and Greece. Just over a century later, Mehmed the Conqueror came to power in 1444. Not only did he defeat the Hungarian Crusade, he captured the city of Constantinople. Constantinople had been the last thing keeping the Eastern Roman Empire alive, and after he took the city, he brought an end to the Byzantine Empire, all by the age of 21. He could probably also read the time, not something many 20-year-olds can apparently do these days. Thanks to Mehmet, the Ottomans now ruled over a sizable amount of territory. The Ottomans also controlled all trade to Europe, which not only made them far more powerful, this had officially made them an empire. The Golden Age would start shortly after these events in 1520. By 1517, the Ottoman Empire now controlled Syria, Arabia, Palestine and Egypt. A few years after this, the Ottoman Empire's Golden Age would start in 1520 and end in 1566 during Suleiman the Magnificent's reign. Suleiman created a new system of laws and welcomed different art and literature, which invited the many great minds of the world to travel to the prospering empire. Many Muslims believe Suleiman was not only a great political leader, but also a great religious one. Through Suleiman's rule, the empire continued to expand into Eastern Europe. During this period, the Ottomans were leaps and bounds ahead of the Europeans with their advances in the sciences. They created beautiful and advanced architecture, which can be seen across Turkey today, and even medical instruments that are still in use. This is when the Ottoman Empire reached a population of 30 million. Despite being bigger than the Roman Empire, its population was quite small for its size. The Roman Empire had a population of 50 million, which was 20% of the world's population at the time. Also, the world's population was half in 100 AD what it was in the 1500s. So although it's impressive how big the Ottoman Empire was in terms of landmass, the land which it conquered wasn't heavily populated, which makes it not as impressive as what the Romans accomplished. Although the population would see a small decrease, it would reach an all-time high of 35 million in the mid-19th century, before seeing an extreme drop-off from then on. So now I've talked about the rise of the Ottoman Empire, I have to talk about its inevitable decline, which started in the early 1600s and continued right up until it no longer existed in the early 20th century. Having to compete with trade from the New World meant they were no longer the focus of trade in Europe, which had a significant effect in the Ottoman economy. Another important event that happened to contribute to the decline of the empire was the banning of the study of science. Despite being a track to eclipse Europe in science and technology, they gave it all up to focus on military superiority. In 1683, the Habsburg halted the Ottoman campaign in Europe after they defeated the Ottoman forces in the Battle of Vienna. They lost several wars over the next 2 centuries, which meant they also lost a lot of territory. Significant wars were the Untitled Turkish War of 1911, the Russo-Turkish War of 1877, and they also failed to deal with the Greek Revolution in 1830, which led to Greece gaining independence from the empire. Over the next 2 centuries, the empire lost important regions such as Greece, Serbia, Moldavia, Bulgaria, Egypt, Algeria, Libya, Montenegro, and Wallachia and Transylvania, which make up part of modern-day Romania. Although I should note they reclaimed Moldavia and Wallachia during the Crimean War, but losing them, albeit only temporary, was still a big blow to the declining empire. As bad as all that sounds, the worst was yet to come. The Ottomans were on the losing side of the First World War, and what little territory they had was lost to the British and French. The empire was reduced to something similar to the territory controlled by Osman I some 6 centuries earlier. The Ottoman Empire officially ended on the 1st of November 1922 when the title of Sultan was banned. A year later, on the 29th of October 1923, Turkey was declared a republic by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know if I made any mistakes or left out anything important. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed. See you in the next one.